My job experience. Wait, what?
Today, I'll be talking about one of humanity's biggest fears. A job!
Go back.
Today, I'll be talking about one of humanity's biggest fears. A job!
Oh my god. How did he not make himself laugh? Oh my. How did he not make himself laugh? I would have been crying.
Today,
saying
I'll
that.
be talking about one
What?
of humanity's biggest fears.
He's got a like evil smile on his face.
This is a
Oh,
horrifying
man.
path that almost everybody will have to eventually face
He
in
probably did like 30 takes.
their life, whether we like it or not. And most of the time, we don't. But everyone has to get their bread somehow. So we just gotta suck it up and pray that we win the lottery or our parlay hits one day. Because let's be for real, nobody want a job. Like, unless you got
That's
real
true.
aspirations for a certain type of work, I think most of us, if given a magical opportunity to get paid however much you get paid now and not work that job again, we would take it. Because most of us see jobs as a way to get by in life and try to make ends meet. There's no room for you to pursue passions in this economy. You better second guess that art degree and major in business so you can be an executive marketing promoter for $1 billion company. But I digress. I'm just saying, I doubt that is most people's passions to work at a 9-to-5 at a warehouse lifting boxes. I don't mean any disrespect, but am I wrong? Plus, it's fun being unemployed. As long as you got a roof over your head and As long as you got a roof over your head and don't need to worry about bills, most likely because you still live with your parents, then why would you want a job? That sounds like it's taking away your time from being grandmaster on Rivals and watching reels. Nah, that's too much. But eventually you want to get your own stuff. You know, young boy tickets ain't free. Or life really hits you in the face and now you actually have bills. So eventually we all have to get a job. However,
Oh my
bills.
god.
So eventually we all have to get a job. However, you know what's harder than actually deciding to get a job? Finding one that hires you. I swear
my
you could send
God.
100 applications.
Dude, I saw somebody say that they sent like 100 applications and only one company called them back to let them know that she will not be hired. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what about all the other companies? Yeah, they didn't even reach out. I was like, damn. That's crazy. That's insane. Are you fucking kidding me? I think it's harder for people now to get a job. You know what I mean? Because nobody wants to work, which is understandable, to be honest. I want to be lazy too. Nobody wants to work, and then nobody wants to like, you know, nobody wants to do these things anymore. And I get that. Babe, I get it. I get it. If we could get paid just sitting our fat asses down at home, it would be so worth it. Oh my god. Then maybe I would like living. But I hear like a lot of people like actually having like a really hard time finding a job. But also too, I will say a lot of people don't want to get dirty anymore. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to work hard anymore, and that's understandable as well. It gets to the point where it's tiring. And your parents go, did you give them a firm handshake? Yeah. Nobody wants to work and nobody wants to hire. Yeah, everyone wants people with experience but can't get experience if that's how everywhere is. That's true. That's true. That's true.
To 100 different places and all of them would still ghost you. You think with how many job openings you see, the businesses are desperate to find people. But nah, it feels like they're posting it as bait, just to mess with people or steal your info. Not only that, if this is your first job, you're gonna have a harder time because even the quote-unquote entry-level jobs are asking for a qualification of having prior experience. Like, isn't that what this job is for? How is someone supposed to get experience? Even the quote-unquote entry-level jobs are asking for a qualification of having prior experience. Like, isn't that what this job is for? How is someone supposed to get experience and not be homeless while almost every decent paying job requires that? And trying to apply for a job on LinkedIn or Indeed is like sending your application into a void. I swear none of those people be reading them. You could have the most stacked profile on LinkedIn. You got a bachelor's, master's, discovered the cure for cancer. Then you send in an application for your dream job to your dream company. Then they write back to you saying, we've read your application. Unfortunately, the CEO's daughter has took your position that you applied for, so get the fuck on. Back when I was still applying for jobs, I literally gave up on sending applications on those sites because I'd never get a response back. Like, damn, was my application that bad? Even when your application does get noticed and you—
I got lucky with my first job, to be honest, but also I didn't even like my job. I liked to make it, I was a barista. I liked making the drinks. Don't get me wrong. That was like the fun part of the job. But the guests I had actually made me like want to like just blow the place up, okay? Actually, I just didn't want to see that fucking like land anymore. I was like, this has to go. This has to go. And it's gonna go with me! I hated it. I applied to a job and they said you'll get put on the schedule in 3 weeks. 3 weeks! 3 weeks? You gotta hear back 3 weeks later if you got the job or not. That's insane. I only got mine because my siblings worked there beforehand and basically got me in. Yeah, it was the same with me. Yeah, it was the same with me. Well, I knew somebody that worked there and they got me in. But and I hated that job. The guests were horrible. Everybody there was horrible. The guests, horrible. The workers, horrible. Everyone was so mean to me. And I was just like, that's cool. And then when I quit, I didn't even like quit. I didn't even give them my 2 weeks notice. I just didn't show up. And they were all like constantly calling me and I just like did not pick up. I was like, you guys actually like just really suck as human beings.
You get set up for an interview, you still gotta go through some more bullshit ass questions. Why did you choose our business? Y'all hiring, like what's up? What is your main motivation to get your work done? Money? What else am I here for? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Hopefully not here. That's just me being honest with my answers. What do you want me to do? Work here for the rest of my life? This is a Wendy's. So you gotta lie with any question they ask. You have to make yourself look as good as possible. So you gotta fake it till you make it. Even if they asked you a stupid question like, would you still work this job even if there was no pay? You say absolutely. I always wanted to be a slave. Congratulations. You have successfully...
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Absolutely. I always wanted to be a slave.
No.
Congratulations. You have successfully become employed. The end of your life starts Tuesday. After starting a job, I feel after the first week, you can find out whether you like it or quit it the next month. And it won't be the job itself to motivate this decision. It's your boss and coworkers.
Jiggle my balls.
They can make or break this whole thing. If you happen to get a chill boss and coworkers you can vibe with, that's amazing. That's how my last real job was. I used to be a waiter for weddings and other events. That job low-key had me stressing because I wasn't good at the start. I was awkward taking orders, I would mess up orders, and one time I even dropped a whole tray of food I was carrying at the wedding.
No! Oh my god. I remember I made a drink run and I got that shit splashed on me. I was like, cool. That's great. And I was low-key upset. I was like, yep. And I just remade the drink and gave it to them. And they asked for their money back and I said no. And I got in trouble by HR. So I hated my job. I did.
Up orders, and one time I even dropped a whole tray of food I was carrying at the wedding. Best believe I didn't get tips that day. And what would get me kind of jealous is that some of my coworkers would walk out and carry 2 trays full of food on one shoulder. Like, damn, bro, are you Samoan? Those trays are mad heavy and so out of balance. But you know what kept me going? It was the fun time I had with my coworkers and boss. They were cool as hell.
Aww.
We had a carpool to get to the events. It was always a vibe and a good time. They made my experience. Imagine working a 16-hour shift and walking out of it happy. One day I clocked in for a double shift for a wedding and a sweet 16 at 9:30 a.m. and clocking out at 1:30 a.m.
Oh my
Granted,
God.
I was dead after that shift and had to take off my shoes more than once, but I got $60 worth of tips and went to Wawa after work, so I felt like Gucci. And I believe Granted, I was dead after that shift and had to take off my shoes more than once.
God.
But I got $60 worth of tips and went to Wawa after work, so I felt like Gucci. And I believe I only felt like this because the environment I was around was nice. Sometimes.
Aww.
I've had to serve some aggressive people at some points.
Yeah, it's my birthday today. What can I get out here for free? You a bitch.
If I had trash co-workers or a trash boss, I would have not stayed at that job for long. I have zero patience for bullshit. Literally. Like example, the first job I've ever had in my senior year of high school, I was a janitor at a warehouse. I had no co-workers, so I had nobody to talk to, and my boss was not a bad person, but a bad boss. I'd be working shifts that were 2 to 3 hours every few days, cleaning the break rooms, hallways, and bathrooms. So my pay wasn't even that good, but since I was still in school, I was just thinking, I'm making money and I got more time to study and goon. That sounds like a win-win. But when payday arrived, I would only be paid for half the hours I worked, sometimes less. I was already barely working as is, combined with a salary of $13 an hour, cleaning up pee-pee and poo-poo. Man, I'm not taking it. Plus, he only paid me through Cash App. You ever had a job that only paid?
What? What? Oh my God, I just heard the echo in my room. Holy shit. What? That's insane. What? Cash App?
And I'm not taking it. Plus, he only paid me through Cash App. You've ever had a job that only paid you through Cash App? Man, I had to go. I only worked there for a few weeks. He did pay me the rest of the money after, so he cool, but man, warehouse jobs are not it. My patience dwindled faster when I got accepted at BJ's, and I worked there for 1 day. I asked to go to the bathroom and left during orientation. Are not it. My patience dwindled faster when I got accepted at BJ's, and I worked there for 1 day. I asked to go to the bathroom and left during orientation. I discovered they weren't what they advertised. How you gonna call yourselves BJ's without expecting people to have certain expectations? You're gonna call yourselves BJ's without expecting people to have certain expectations. That's false advertising. So I left. That wasn't really the reason. I just didn't want to work in the freezer.
Oh man. Oh man.
That wasn't really the reason. I just didn't want to work in the freezer. That's when I started my waiting job, then YouTube, and now here I am. Unemployed since.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This guy's funny, chat. Totally.
My waiting job.
Sounds kind of familiar. Sounds like me, right? Sounds like me, chats. I became a streamer, a YouTuber, and I'm still unemployed.
On YouTube, and now here I am. Unemployed since. I'm just saying I can understand the struggles of looking for and having a job. Man. Especially the ones you only take to make ends meet. And the unemployed life can be really fun when you have stuff to fall back on. If not, it will only be short-term satisfaction. Eventually, you have to get a career, deal with any of the shortcomings of it, and do that for the rest of your life. The American dream! So when looking for a job, make sure to get one that you... career, deal with any of the shortcomings of it, and do that for the rest of your life. The American dream!
Oh
so when
my
looking
god.
for a job, make sure to get one that you like if you have the privilege to do so. That's all I really wanted to say. And in conclusion, Enjoy unemployment while you still can. Different strokes for
Hey.
different folks. And so
Hey, dude, that was amazing. 10 out of 10.